Mercedes extolled the virtues of its Formula One contender for 2023, saying it was much calmer than the problematic W13. Team that appears destined to lose to Red Bull, Ferrari, and perhaps Aston Martin might consider the statement that it is not a likely race winner to be lighthearted. Mercedes' situation isn't looking good right now, and team members spoke out strongly about it. We all are aware that Mercedes had a difficult year in 2022. The Silver Arrows have named the W13 as one of the worst vehicles they have ever produced. Analysts and admirers claim that this may be attributable to the custom zero-pod design, despite what Mercedes might claim. But the W14's introduction meant that everything had to change, but has it? Let's investigate and find out where Mercedes went completely wrong. Since the release of the car earlier this month, the team has worked to temper expectations, stating only that the W14 will eventually become a front-runner and scoffing at predictions that it would return to championship contention this year after a disastrous 2022. Will they be able to catch up, though, or will the teams in the middle of the field overtake Mercedes? Mercedes was optimistic on Thursday when it could certify that the bouncing and porpoising that had destroyed its 2022 were now resolved. But on Friday, reliability issues and balancing problems made it even more dubious. Trackside engineering director Andrew Shovlin claims that the team also struggled to keep the car balanced in a variety of track conditions. We've not had a strong second day. Stopping on track with a reliability issue wasn't great, and we have struggled to get the car balanced well across the changing conditions. We've got some investigations going on to understand why this has been such a challenge today when yesterday it was fairly straightforward. It is therefore no secret that Mercedes has experienced some difficulties on the track, particularly with Lewis Hamilton, who frequently experienced oversteer on corner exit. Will the right setup give Mercedes any chances? Or are we dealing with a more serious issue here, something that goes beyond the setup? For Mercedes, the latter appears to be true. Mercedes' starting position this season is not quite where we want to be, but it's a good platform to start from, Hamilton said in summarizing the team's standing. He went on to say that while straight-line speed was less of an issue in 2022, it was still a little bit of a concern. Despite this, he expressed his gratitude that the bouncing had almost completely disappeared. Bouncing has gone. Sometimes it reoccurs a little bit, but most of the time it's not there, he said. It's just a much more beautiful world to be in when it's not bouncing, so you can actually see the road ahead. And better for the body, but we do have some pace to pick up in a straight line. Hamilton argued that there was no similarity between the mood of a near crisis and how Mercedes ended testing a year ago when asked to compare the two situations. I just think everyone was distraught at the end of the test last year, he said. None of us knew what was happening with the bouncing, where it came from. We'd not seen it in the wind tunnel. We were meant to bring a 1.5-second upgrade, and we couldn't use it. So that was difficult, and I think everyone left here with kind of their head in their hands. But we got over it and we pushed through. And we had an amazing year of just, hustling and everyone grafting. This year, we have some things that we need to work on that are still not perfect. We're still not able to match the Red Bulls currently, or the Ferraris maybe. But, as I said, it is better. There are things that have changed. The bouncing has gone and there are a couple of elements that have been better so far. Who knows where we'll be next week? Just got to stay positive. We've got to manifest what we want and just continue to push, and that's what we live for. According to Lewis Hamilton, Mercedes didn't listen to his complaints over the brand's Formula One car for 2022. This will surely cast even more doubt on his standing with the team and his chances of making it. Will Mercedes and Lewis Hamilton team up in 2024, or should he change teams or put his boots away? Mercedes enthusiasts, you won't like this. It's simple to see why Hamilton is displeased. One of the all-time greatest F1 drivers has a contract that expires in 2023. At the first race of the season, his team has just admitted that the car concept had struggled with the previous year but vigorously pursued over the winter in an effort to evolve rather than replace as flawed and has to be reevaluated. This is bad news for his goals this year and raises the question of when Mercedes will be able to compete for the championship once more, or even if they can turn things around before the rules change in 2026. Following his fifth-place finish in the Bahrain Grand Prix, Lewis Hamilton was upfront in his criticism of Mercedes and its refusal to consider his suggestions. Last year, there were things I told them. I said the issues that are with the car, said Hamilton. I've driven so many cars in my life, I know what a car needs, I know what a car doesn't need. And I think it's really about accountability. It's about owning up and saying, yeah, you know what, we didn't listen to you, it's not where it needs to be, and we've got to work, we've got to look into the balance through the corners, look at all the weak points and just huddle up as a team. That's what we do. We're still multi-world champions, just haven't got it right this time. Didn't get it right last year, but that doesn't mean we can't get it right moving forwards. Toto Wolff, the head of the Mercedes team, was subjected to the usual barrage of inquiries on Sunday night regarding Hamilton's future, including the relatively novel query of whether it was time to consider a Plan B strategy in the event Hamilton decides to leave the team given the magnitude of its early 2023 problems. As much as being transparent as to how we need to turn the car around, it is not the point to talk about the driver's situation in 2024, Wolff replied. It is far too early. We need to all push in the same direction, the drivers, the engineers, all the management, rather than throwing in the towel. We have never done that and we will not do it. To be fair, Wolff didn't explicitly say, "No, we're not even thinking about this," but the rest of his deflective answers to questions concerning Hamilton's feelings were. The Lewis situation is, you heard him on the radio. Wolff made this statement while directing reporters to Hamilton's team radio transmission to Mercedes at the finish line of the race. "Great work today, great work over these 2 weeks," Hamilton said after crossing the line. "I know we're not where we want to be, but let's keep pushing. We've got some serious work to do to close the gap, and I believe in you, so let's keep going." Furthermore, it was in line with Hamilton's statement from last Thursday when asked about the fact that he hadn't signed a contract for 2024 and how Mercedes' anticipated lack of competitiveness in 2023 affected that. When informed that former world champions turned analysts Jenson Button and Damon Hill had suggested Hamilton leave Mercedes if the 2023 car didn't work for him, Hamilton responded, "Not at all. Ultimately, it's people creating rumors without facts. It's not helpful, and you would have thought that they would both know by now." He continued by telling his audience that he had been a part of the Mercedes family since the firm and its former F1 partner McLaren first hired him as a protege. And up until this point, Hamilton has always valued devotion to the Mercedes family. "I've been with Mercedes since I was 13, Hamilton continued. "Having the difficult year we had last year, I'm still here. Whether or not we have a difficult year this year, I'll still be here. I'm a fighter, and we fight as a team. I still believe I'm able to put the car in places that perhaps others are not able to, and I love that challenge. Of course, I wish that we started the season with a great car, but it's the journey that really counts. There is no hold-up with our contract. I've always been very, very relaxed. I don't feel like I have to get it done right this second. I'm in a very fortunate position. It'll get done when we're ready. I have a great relationship with Toto and with Mercedes, and we fully support each other. And I'm really excited for the future together. I'm really proud of the work that we're doing on and off the track and the potential things we can do. We'll get there." He made light of the fact that the only event that might have an impact on his future was if something catastrophic happened when he and Wolff got together to seal the transaction. It gets us closer to the heart of the issue. Hamilton and Mercedes are extremely tight even by the standards of excellent F1 driver plus best team they're linked with. Their relationship has grown well beyond on-track accomplishments. More significant than the actions of the car are the people involved on both sides. The competitiveness of the car is essentially irrelevant given how well Mercedes and Hamilton work together. Years have passed since Hamilton first mentioned the possibility of switching Formula One teams. He has made it crystal clear that he plans to keep competing in Formula One after 2023. He so continues to face up against Mercedes. He still looks far from having any impact on his contract or future from Mercedes' achievement, depending on his current state of mind, based unquestionably on his discoveries. How do you feel? Hamilton, will he remain at Mercedes? Will he be able to use Mercedes this year or in the not-too-distant future to pursue his 8th championship? Please share your opinions in the section below. We appreciate your interest and hope to see you in the upcoming video.